Today we'll be rounding out the regular season here in year number 2 of the Las Vegas High Rollers MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K26. We'll be getting through the final month's worth of games, and we've also got another prospect profile today. We've already gone over a lot of the top prospects in the class, but now we're going to dig a little bit deeper down the board looking for some hidden gems or diamonds in the rough. As you guys know, I'm not making the draft classes this year. However, our draft class maker has been put on the injured list. No, I'm not kidding. I wish I was. So I had to make a lot of the prospects for this year, and then we should go back to him making the players going forward. Nonetheless, we are currently 24-42, the 6th worst record in the NBA, which, as I've talked about throughout the course of the year, kind of puts us in an odd spot. We're not as dreadful as some of the teams below us, but we're also going to have worse lottery odds than the teams below us as well, and that's going to really hurt our chances of potentially landing a franchise-altering star at the top of this draft. As for the top of the standings, the top of the West is kind of separated a little bit. The Rockets and Spurs have made up some ground. The Mavericks have won 9 in a row. The LeBron addition has proven to be a good one. The Lakers have also played better since the trade deadline, so it seems like the LeBron deal has kind of worked out for everybody. The Eastern Conference, of course, nowhere near as good as the West. You could easily argue any of the top 6 teams in the West would probably be the favorite in the East, but Minnesota seems like the team to beat here. Detroit, Atlanta, I think probably would give the Wolves their best crack. There's only 5 teams right now above 500 in this conference. Completely unserious basketball being played in the East. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to manage this final month of the year, because on one hand, I've made it clear I don't want to tank and I don't want to intentionally lose games with this young team. But I also see the advantages of being higher up in terms of the NBA draft lottery odds. So we're going to have to balance that dynamic over the last month of the year, especially those last couple of weeks where a lot of the worst teams in the NBA are not really going to be trying and completely mailing it in, and anybody with even a nagging injury isn't going to play. Where are Asa Newell's stats? They're just gone. Nonetheless, let's continue to talk about this 2027 draft class, which certainly at the top is better than what we had last year in 2026. Scouts are talking about this group as a potential transcendent class. Lucky for us, we added an additional first-round pick at the deadline. Granted, it will probably be the final pick of the first round because the Rockets had the best record in the league, and there's a reason why the Nets were willing to trade that pick without much of a cost, but it gets us an additional dart throw at the dartboard, and some of the guys we go over today could be candidates not just for that pick, but possibly our second rounder as well, which is going to be probably pretty early within round 2. I will briefly mention the top of this class real quick. It does seem more and more likely that Kentucky big man DeMarco Jefferson will be the number 1 pick. Now, his stock hasn't really changed over the last month because he hasn't played. He's been hurt, but with the film that he put on prior to his injury, scouts are all in. They think he can really be one of the most dynamic big men in the NBA. Marquise Cannon is looking more and more like the clear and obvious number 2 pick. And then Lando Nazario, who seemed like it was kind of a big 3 with the top guys in this class. His stock has bounced around a little bit more. One mock draft has him at 3, one has him at 6, and another has him at 9. So I still would say he's probably the slight favorite to be the number 3 pick, but certainly not as much of a guarantee as we thought earlier. Let's now go through some guys whose stocks have gone up. They're now towards the top 10. We haven't mentioned them yet this year, or other players who could be potential diamonds in the rough later down the board. So behind Jefferson, Cannon, and Nazario, I think this class really is wide open. And I do not envy whoever gets the 4th pick in this draft because there's like 10 different players you could look at. The first guy we'll mention is Christopher Oliva, an Italian forward. So we've got 2 Italian prospects towards the top of this class with Nazario as well. The ranking services seem to love Oliva. They have him in the top 5. The mock drafts, a little bit more all over the place. One has him at 4, another has him at 17. So it seems like the mock draft websites like him a lot, but they're unclear if the league is high on him. I think Oliva is a very easy projection to the NBA. I think he has a really high floor. He's a 6'9" forward who can guard multiple positions, and he's a really good catch-and-shoot guy. His jump shot form is really ugly, but he can sink threes. I don't think he's ever going to be an all-star. I don't think this is ever a guy who you're looking at as a number one or maybe even a number two for a championship team. But I think you're looking at a quality starter who can shoot the ball. I think the C-plus three-point grade doesn't really do him justice here. He's a good playmaker. He's got good feel for the game. And I like what he provides defensively. He's not an overly exciting athlete, which again limits his ceiling. It limits what he can do in terms of his ability as a slasher going to the basket. I don't know if he has that much room to get better, but I think he could contribute pretty early on for a team who's looking to make a potential run into the playoffs. So because of that, I do kind of see where his stock is all over the place. For a rebuilding team, he might not be that valuable, but for a team who's close to being good, I could see them liking him. The next player we're going to go over is Tian McCoy, the senior from Texas Tech, who is a National Player of the Year candidate, a 6'9 guard who can create his own shot like he's 6'3. Now, positionally, he's a little bit of a tweener because even though he's built like a forward, I don't think he can necessarily match up with forwards defensively. I think he's a really good perimeter defender, and he's got the foot speed to stay with guards, but he can't really switch down low. I don't know if he has the overall quickness to truly be a guard. I don't think he's a good enough ball handler to be an on-ball guy consistently. He's a great shot maker for himself, but he doesn't really provide anything as a playmaker for others. So I do have some questions with McCoy, but I do like his game a lot. Let's move down to the teens. YOLO Frozen, intriguing prospect. I think we're going to go over him during the draft preview just because his stock is kind of all over the place for me. Kind of a polarizing prospect, and I think once we know the draft order, we'll have a better idea of where he could go. Rakeem Miller from BYU is a player who physically has a lot of similarities to Fro, minus the fact that he's a little bit shorter. I like Miller's game a lot, though. I love how he looks like an Oompa Loompa here. He's got the blue leggings, the blue shoes. He's just blue across the board. He looks like a Smurf. I think he's a really well-rounded player who can create his own shot inconsistently. He's a pretty good perimeter defender. I think he's a solid enough athlete. I think these grades don't really do him justice. I think this is a guy whose stock has really gone up this year. His feel for the game at his age is really, really impressive, and I could certainly see him being a back end of a lottery pick because of his overall basketball IQ for someone who's only 19 years old. Cedric Noel, playing overseas in France, is going to be one of the most fun rookies in this class. Is he going to be one of the most polished? No, probably not. But he's got a tight handle. He can really create his own shot. A dynamic offensive weapon. At 6'2", he's probably going to be a true point guard at the next level. The question is, will he be a good enough on-ball player? I think as a playmaker, yes. I mean, he's a really good passer. He knows how to get his teammates involved. And I think he's a good shot maker. So I definitely see a world where this can work. He's also a good defensive player as well, so that's going to give him added value on the defensive end of the floor. And a lot of the questions I have for smaller guards, he checks off those boxes. Let's now take a look at a couple of versatile ACC forwards with Landon Nixon from Wake Forest and Messiah Ritchie from Virginia Tech. Go Hokies. Nixon in particular, I think, is an intriguing prospect because of his ability to space the floor. At 6'9", he can really shoot the three. He's got a nice midi. He's got a nice fadeaway, as you can see here. And I think his overall game has a lot of potential. Even though he's not a very good defensive player right now, really at all, he's actually kind of a traffic cone. He can score from all three levels. He's an okay playmaker. He's got good size and length, so I think he could become a better defensive player if he buys in on that side of the floor. Messiah Ritchie from Virginia Tech, another guy we might talk about during the draft preview. Physically built pretty similar. I think he's a little bit more athletic, but certainly not the floor spacer that Nixon is. Caden Zach from Wisconsin's a fun player to me. He's 6'5", but he's kind of a small forward, power forward hybrid. He plays a lot bigger than his size suggests. He's a good rebounder. He can guard multiple positions. He's good at driving to the basket. Three-point shot has some potential, has some work to do, though. I think this is another guy who has a pretty high floor because I think there's a lot of ways where he contributes to winning. And because of that, I certainly see a world where he can make an impact on a contending team sooner rather than later. Yuki Saito, the Japanese big man, we talked about him earlier. He's a really high upside prospect in my opinion. Amir Richardson, we talked about him last episode as well, as we did with OJ Stackhouse. Let's now get to the 20s, guys who could possibly be on the board for our pick if they fall a little bit. And we'll start with Juice Jones out of Kentucky. I think this guy will be the prototypical high-level role player. He only averages 8 points a game this year for the Wildcats, but he's a really good defender. He can handle the ball a little bit. He can go to the cup. He's a really good playmaker. Think baby Draymond Green in a lot of ways. Not to say he will be as good as Draymond Green, but he's a 6'9" forward who can guard just about every position. Now, he's not a great defender yet, but his versatility could lead him to being a really good defensive player. He's a very good passer for his size and age as well, and I think when you combine the playmaking feel and the overall defensive instincts and defensive versatility, I think Juice Jones is going to be a really good NBA player, no matter how you slice it. Let's move a little bit further down the board now. Neptune Hippins Jr. from Penn State has really risen up boards this year. A talented 6'4" combo guard with long arms, 6'10" wingspan. He's a dynamic slasher, a human highlight reel playing above the rim. He's a good defender. He's a good playmaker. I like what he provides on and off the ball on both ends of the floor. He can run the offense. He can handle it. He can pass it. But I think he's also a good enough player off the ball, especially if his three-point shot can become a little bit more consistent. That's kind of the area of his game he needs to get better with. But if his three-point shot falls at a high clip, he's going to be a great player. Shadrack Williams from Gonzaga, another guy who is rising up boards. He's projected to go in the 20s. I'll be honest, I would be surprised if he makes it out of the lottery. He's a forward with great size, great length. Offensively, he's got some work to do, but I think at least immediately he's probably going to be best offensively in transition, in the full court, running the floor. He can handle it a little bit. I think he's really good in terms of his ability to slide to the basket, especially in transition. But immediately, the athleticism pops off the tape. I know the C+ grade is there. I think he's better than a C+ athlete. And I think you look at his defensive versatility, his defensive instincts, and you see another guy who I think will contribute to high-level winning basketball. And because of that, I think he goes in the lottery. Going a little bit further down the board now, Jalen Mercer from Kentucky, I think is a big name to watch for us because the mock draft seemed to have penciled him in as a good option with that Rockets pick. Mercer is a 6'6" wing with a 6'11" wingspan. I think he's got a really high ceiling for somebody projected to go in the 20s. He's a dynamic athlete. He's a really good defender off the bat. Offensively, he's got some work to do, but I think with the size, length, and athleticism combination, if he can become a more consistent scorer, I easily see a scenario where he ends up being one of the 10 best players in this draft and could be a steal for us in the 30s if he gets there. The last guy we're going to talk about today is Malachi Ngema. We already looked at Shadrack Williams, the power forward for Gonzaga. This is the center. Ngema is a throwback, old-school bruising type of big man. 6'10", 270 with a 7'4" wingspan. The senior is the favorite to win the National Player of the Year, leading Gonzaga, the number 1 team in the country, who only has 1 loss so far this year. How will Ngema's game translate to the NBA? I think he's a really solid scorer within 15 feet of the basket. He doesn't really have an outside shot, but he's got a mid-range and he can shoot 3 throws. Defensively, not great. He's got to get a lot better there, but I think he's pretty nimble and fleet of foot for his size. He's also really strong as well. So I think the combination of speed and strength could lead to him being a good defender. He's just kind of got a ways to go until he ends up being a good rim protector, in my opinion, but still certainly worth a flyer towards the end of the first round, especially seeing how much he has contributed to winning for Gonzaga this year. Again, probably the best player in the country. So let's take a look at where these mock drafts stand now, especially with our 2 first-round picks, along with some of the other selections at the top. As I mentioned earlier, Jefferson seems to be the number 1 for teams. Cannon seems to be the number 2. And then the draft kind of opens up at number 3. The Sporting News has us getting Lando Nazario all the way at number 6. That would be an interesting slide. NBA 2K has us getting Laurent St. Pierre. We talked about him previously, the talented point guard from Syracuse, one of the most exciting on-ball players in this class. And then NBA.com has us picking Tian McCoy, gives us a true shot maker and a potential number 1 scoring option for the future. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it seems like Jalen Mercer is the popular pick for us right now at number 32. And I think given the upside, that would be a really fun selection at the end of the first round. I'd be surprised if he fell that far, but if he does, we would certainly consider it. So now with only 1 month to go, I think I'm going to look at this game against the Grizzlies. We play them twice here towards the end of the year. They're right on the cusp of the play-in spot. We've got some tough teams before the Grizzlies game. We've got Atlanta. We've got the Warriors twice, the Wolves, the Lakers. The Kings are no slouch. But we didn't do half bad. We ended up going 3-4, including wins against the Wolves and the Lakers. Agbaji 24, Singleton 21, Anthony Edwards only 19. And then against the Lakers, a 32-piece for Benedict Mathurin. Luka had a 29-point triple-double, but we still get the upset over L.A. I like seeing our team play well, but we're flying up the standings. We now hit the 9th lottery odds. We could fall out of the top 10. With this draft class, that's not really where we want to be. So because of that, I'm not necessarily going to start tanking, but we are going to propel our younger players in terms of their minutes. Mark Singleton will play a lot more. Asa Newell will play a lot more. Jet Rivers, Jordan Holloway, those guys are going to get a lot of run. We're going to also rest some veterans. Today, it'll be Ochai Agbaji and Oso Ighodaro. It will not be them every game. We're going to kind of switch off, but we're going to get our young guys a lot more run, give them more reps over the last couple of weeks of the year. And I'm excited to see how they look against a Grizzlies team who's really going for this game because they need all the wins they can get. Currently in 9th place in the Western Conference play-in race. Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Joel Embiid lead the way. They will be without Cedric Coward, the second-year guard from Washington State, who's played really well this year. He's turned into a really good player, but he will not be available for the Grizzlies. A big loss for a Memphis team who at 38-36 does not have that much margin for error. I'm sure they'd love to get a top 8 seed and give themselves 2 chances to make it out of the play-in. A little bit ironic they're showing Ochai Agbaji, considering he's resting today, but oh well, it is what it is. Regular starters for the Rollers, but again, we're going to have our younger guys play a lot of this game. Probably more minutes than the starters. Hopefully they're going to close out the game as well, but it will largely be the regular crew to start the game as Joel Embiid wins the tip, and we are underway here in the M between the Grizzlies and the Rollers. Benedict Mathurin, step back, tray ball is good! Benedict Mathurin snatching John Konchar's ankles as it's 4-3. Cross-court pass over to Jalen Wells. Wells with it inside. Jaren Jackson Jr. with the throwdown. Wells, another former Washington State product. I'm just realizing now the Grizzlies drafted Washington State guys 2 years in a row. What are the odds? Ja Morant, fadeaway 3-ball is good. A quick start for the Memphis offense. They lead 9-3. Here's Mathurin with a nice move. All the way, he's blocked at the rim! Jaren Jackson, the former Defensive Player of the Year, with the snuff. Following Memphis possession, here's Konchar inside over Jeremy Sohan. Bounces in, 11-3. Looking awfully ugly early. We're going to call a timeout, and we're already going to start to bring some of the young guys in the game. Carter takes it all the way for the slam, ending our mini scoring drought. Now it's 13-7, intercepted by Aaron Wiggins. Here's Singleton, pushes the pace. Jet Rivers connects on the mid-ranger. Of all the young guys, I'm most fascinated to see what Rivers does with this bigger role. I want to see if he's a guy who we can really make a full-time rotation player next year. As Ja Morant is in for the slam. Quick start for Ja. He's looked very good early on. Here's Mark Singleton. Sends it up for Asa Newell for 3. Newell, another guy who certainly has a chance to add to his role next year if he plays well down the stretch here. Jackson gets it up for Morant. Over to Konchar. It's ripped away by Rivers. Carter ends up with it, and he's intercepted by Morant. A lot of turnovers early from both teams. Jalen Wells for 3. Buries the triple, and the Rollers call another timeout. Our defense has not looked good early in this game, whether it's been in a regular half-court set or in transition. Another one bites the dust. Jalen Wells, back-to-back threes. 21-14. Morant brings it up for the Grizzlies. Sends it to Jaren Jackson. Gets by Newell. And he is in for the easy slam. We've got to wake up defensively. This is hard to watch. Here's Morant with Jet Rivers. Leaves him in the dust. All the way in for the layup. Good job there by Newell to send help. But Ja Morant is such a good slasher. There's nothing he could have done. Here's Singleton inside. Up and in with the layup. His first points of the game. 25-16. Jalen Williams misses the dunk, and here come the Grizzlies. Javon Small with it. The second-year guard from West Virginia swatted away by Mark Singleton. Sends it to the scorer's table. Clark finds Finn Charles, the rookie. Gets it to Small with the cross, the sauce, and the miss. Singleton the rebound. He's got Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin on the drive. Pump fake. Sends it up. Rivers over to Asa Newell. Will reset the possession. Oh, look at this mismatch. I'm hungry for some barbecue chicken. Passing it around now. We're going to try to get it back to Singleton if we can. Singleton's going to have to throw up a three. And it's good! Not really the shot we were looking for on that possession, but hey, we'll take it. Jerome's pass is tipped and intercepted by Holloway. To Mathurin in transition. Buries the three. And we are within one score. It was like a 10-point game or something a couple minutes ago. Ty Jerome gets one right back. The Grizzlies have not yet missed from deep. A perfect 4 for 4 to start. Here's Rivers on the drive. Too easy. The second round guard out of UConn took a little bit of a stumble with the ground. Good thing he's okay. Here's Jerome around the screen. Inside, little pick and roll. Clark is blocked by Singleton. What a start for Mark Singleton. 5 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Newell got a hand on that one. Here's Holloway. Looks to push the pace. Layup no good. Singleton the rebound. He finds Rivers. He hits the three. Mark Singleton's playing out of his mind so far in this game. Embiid backs down on Rivers. They've got to go to that matchup. Jackson in the corner. Small for three. It's good. Again, I feel like that was not the shot there, but, I mean, it went in. The Grizzlies now 5 for 5 from deep in the opening quarter. Holloway will look to dribble out the clock, but it's stolen. Brandon Clark's got it. Over to G.G. Jackson. All the way. In for the layup. An extremely efficient first quarter for the Grizzlies, shooting 68% from the field and perfect from deep. Rivers with just seconds left over to Mathurin at the buzzer. No good. The offense has been pretty solid. 5 of 9 from deep, 50% overall, but our defense looks stinky so far. Singleton with 5, 3, 3, and 2 blocks. Rivers has 7 on perfect shooting. Mathurin has 8 for the Grizzlies. John Morant has 9. Jalen Wells has 8. Jaren Jackson has 6. The 3 of them have combined for 23 points on 9 of 9 shooting. Got to guard those 3. As Holloway is in for the layup, the first to score here in the second quarter. Here's Ty Jerome with it. Former national champion at the University of Virginia. Up and in, counted, and a foul, and one. Jordan Holloway called for the foul. 36-29, here's Singleton. Oh, we love this mismatch. Draws the double, and it's intercepted. G.G. Jackson baits him like a defensive back, takes it all the way for the layup, and it's a 9-point lead for the Grizzlies. That was such a good defensive play by Jackson. Jaden Hardy in the game. Step back. Limitless range. Jaden Hardy drills the 3. 38-32. Jerome sends it inside for Javon Small. In for the slam. Somebody didn't hustle defensively. Sohan had to help. There wasn't really much he could do to stop him. As Ja Morant is in for the slam, we've got to find a way to stop Ja. We don't have the horses to match with him on the perimeter, and we don't have the guys down low to stop him as he forces the turnover with the spin. All the way, makes the layup. That time, it wasn't even bad defense. It was just a really nice play by Ja with the spin move and the contested layup. 11-point game. Here's Benedict Mathurin. He's got Sohan. We like this matchup. Draws the double, takes it anyway, and Jeremy Sohan connects. 9-point game now. Make it 11. Here's Mathurin. Sends it over to Sohan halfway through the second. Back up top. Bang! Ben Math for 3. He's got 11. Granted, he hasn't been very efficient today. He's had a lot of misses. Carter misses the layup. Good defense by Joel Embiid. Here's Jerome with it. Jerome, layup is good. He thought there should have been a foul. No call, but the Grizzlies now lead by 12. Jerome with it. Under 4 to go in the half. Sends it up for Wells. Another 3 and another make. The Grizzlies are not shooting a lot of threes, but they still haven't missed. 6 of 6. Wells is perfect. Morant is perfect. Wells has the steal. Here comes Memphis on the fast break. Jerome intercepted by Sohan. He'll look to send it up the floor. Wiggins, Mathurin, Carter. Great ball movement, but good job by the Grizzlies to stop us in our tracks. Carter on the drive, and one! We take advantage of the mismatch with Jackson and throws it down on Joel Embiid. Morant repays the favor! The poster over Jalen Williams. Mama, there goes that man! He just caught a body. 18-point lead for the Grizzlies, under 2 to go in the half. Here's Holloway around the screen. Inside, Jalen Williams, a little pick and roll action. Good play there by the Rollers. Trying to cut this deficit. Currently sitting at 16. Jackson, another three. The Grizzlies are 7 for 7. They are not missing, and we have a good perimeter defense usually. I don't know what's going on today. Here's Jalen Williams in for the slam. 17-point lead now. The offense trying to keep pace. Here is Rivers. Gets it up for Williams. Throws up a three. And it's good. Jalen Williams beats the shot clock. Wiggins now following possession. Another three. And the lead is within 11. We were down by like 20. A 15-2 run to end the second quarter. Make it 15-4. As Morant is in for the slam. 68-55. Mathurin does not get it off in time. Doesn't make it anyway. The offense has had some good moments, and overall we have shot the three ball pretty well so far. 9 of 16 from deep. The problem is the Grizzlies are 7 of 9. They made their first 7, have missed a couple since, but have still been unbelievable. Ja Morant is playing ridiculously. He is 23 points and has missed one shot. Jalen Wells is 11 points. He hasn't missed. 3 for 3 from deep. Singleton no good. Our defense always plays better in the second half. I don't think they're going to get 68 again. I think these guards are going to miss at some point, but they haven't shown signs of weakness yet. 25 now for Morant. Here is Rivers around the screen. Sends it in on the pick and roll. Ace and Newell with the slam. We're going to get a lot of reps for these young guys in the second half. The two rookie guards, Singleton and Newell in the front court. Morant just working Jet Rivers. Rivers is not a great defender as is, but you're taking on Ja Morant, who's playing one of the best games of his life. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Off the miss, Singleton, the offensive rebound, the big man in for the putback. 9, 6, and 3 for Mark Singleton. 72-59. Jackson looks to post up on Benedict Mathurin, and he does. 15-point game. High Rollers call timeout once again. Here's Devin Carter with it, looks to get by Morant. Swings it over to Mathurin. Mathurin with the crossover all the way. The acrobatics and the finish for Benedict Mathurin. 76-61. Carter looks to get by Morant, and he does. Devin Carter in for the layup. He's got 7. He's got to play better defensively, though. He's really our only good defensive guard, and even he hasn't played well with Morant. See? Morant, too easy. Carter was there to contest late, but Ja Morant is making everything. You could put a blindfold on him, and he'd still be making these shots. There's Mark Singleton with the wide-open transition dunk. An easy play for Singleton. 78-66. Morant guarded by Carter. Here's Morant on the drive with the jam. I mean, his footwork is just perfect. Our guards cannot match up with him, and our bigs are not quick enough to send help. Morant looks to do it again. Pull-up jumper is good. I mean, this is assault. What are we supposed to do? Morant's had a few more misses in this third quarter, but he's still playing out of his mind. Morant with the rebound. We're looking to pressure him, but the problem is that means the inside is open. Good ball movement. Good layup by Joel Embiid. 84-66. Here's Singleton. Has it ripped away into the hands of Devin Carter. I mean, that's not how we drew it up, but hey, 2 points are 2 points. We'll take it. We need all the points we can get, given that the Grizzlies might get 100 before the end of the quarter. 84-68. Here's John Conchart. Gets it up for Ja Morant. Morant with Carter. Finds Wells. Another three and another make. The Grizzlies, after making their first 7 threes, have now missed 7 in a row. Prior to that one, as Singleton misses down low. Good defense by Jackson. Singleton certainly cooling off after his hot start. Wells makes Mathurin look foolish. In for the layup, 21-point lead for the Grizzlies. Here is Mathurin, has it back over to Holloway for 3, no good. Singleton, another offensive rebound and another putback for the big fella. He's got 13 and 9, looking for that double-double. Jalen Williams post up on the smaller defender. He draws the double. Wiggins for 3, it's good. Nice shot off the catch there by Aaron Wiggins, 89-73. Jaden Hardy in the game now. Hardy looking to get some room. He sends it up for Wiggins again, and he hits another one. Aaron Wiggins saving basketball, hopefully saving our team too, but that's a lot easier said than done with how we've guarded the Grizzlies today. Here is Clark with it on the drive with the slam as he gets that one barely over the extended arm of Jalen Williams. Here's Hardy. Layup is good. Nice maneuver by Jaden Hardy. The offense is continuing to somewhat keep us in the game. I mean, we're not in a good spot, but it's also like we're not down by, 30. As Jackson, no! Nice stop by Ace and Newell, pushing the pace for Hardy. Hardy, his three, won't go. Williams the rebound. Williams the putback. An 11-point game now. We're continuing to dig into this deficit. Ty Jerome with the spin move on Hardy. Layup no good. Rebound by the Grizzlies. Jackson for three. Won't go again. Williams the board. He's got Newell with 6-7 seconds to go. Newell finds Rivers. We know who we want. Hardy. It's good. Why did they give Jaden Hardy so much space? The lead is within 8. Much like the end of the second quarter, the Rollers go on a big run here at the end of the third, and all of a sudden, we've got ourselves a game. 91-83, we've got ourselves a pulse. The Grizzlies shooting 1 for 7 from deep. We didn't shoot it great from 3 either, but we still outscored them in this quarter. The defense looking a lot better. The Grizzlies had more shot attempts than they did points. Jackson wide open. Cannot give him that much room. I don't know what happened on that defensive possession. Here's Rivers, 9 and 5. On the drive, pick and roll again for Ace and Newell. He is really good at rolling to the basket. True roller, one could say. Ty Jerome jacks up a 3, won't go. But Jackson is right there for the offensive rebound and the putback slam. 100-87 now. Grizzlies looking to add to this lead, add some insurance. Jackson buries the 3 off the assist by Jerome. And just like that, the Grizzlies are right back up by 16 points. Here's Rivers. We know we've got to start this comeback now. Sohan with the slam. 103-89. Under 6.5 to go in the corner. Jemai Meshack for 3. Won't go. And Joel Embiid is hurt, going up for the rebound. And in other news, the sky is blue. Certainly not the guy the Grizzlies want to have banged up just 2 weeks before the playoffs. Jerome inside. Brandon Clark with the slam. It's a 16-point game. 105-91 now. Morant with Holloway. I mean, this just doesn't look fair. Morant dancing by him in for the slam. He's like a ballerina, the way his feet move so quickly. Here's Morant again inside. Jerome makes the layup. An 18-point game. I don't think this comeback is happening, guys. We're not looking too hot. 110-94. Kutcher in the corner for Jaren Jackson. Makes the layup. Jackson has not shot the ball a lot today, but he hasn't missed. 5 of 5, all of his shots in the paint. Why is Joel Embiid in the game? Are they stupid? He misses down low. Singleton with the rebound. Here's Brennan Holloway. Holloway, layup is... Why did I just call him Brennan? I mixed him up with his brother. Jordan Holloway makes the layup. I'll keep it in the video because it was funny. Here's Morant. Cocks it back and launches it home. That should just about be the dagger. 116-103, your final. The Grizzlies win this game here at home against the Rollers. I'll give us some credit defensively. We definitely played better in the second half. I do not want to talk about that first half again, but in the second half, they only went 3 for 14 from deep. They shot less than 50% from the field. The problem is we also did not shoot it well. 4 for 19 from deep in the second half, after we shot 56% from beyond the arc in the first half. So both offenses really slowed down. While the defense played a lot better, the offense sacrificed as a result. Singleton with 16, 12, 3, and 2. He started off hot, then kind of cooled off, but was still probably our best player. Rivers had 14 and 8 on good shooting and only 1 turnover. He was pretty solid on offense, at least. Defensively, he was a cone. Benedict Mathurin, 5 of 16, did not shoot the ball well. Really, nobody shot the ball well in the second half. As for the Grizzlies, Morant, 39 points, 18 of 28 from the field. Again, definitely better in the second half in terms of guarding him, but still not pretty. Jalen Wells, 16 points on 7 shots. G.G. Jackson, 15 on 9 shots. Jackson, 10 points, 10 boards with no misses. The Grizzlies were just too efficient, especially early in the game, and even though it got better in the second half, it wasn't good enough. There were still some positives, though. We had some good takeaways. We did really well on the offensive glass, which has been a weakness for us. So now with 8 games left to go, and us on a little winning streak before we lost to the Grizzlies, we are, of course, falling behind in terms of draft lottery odds. While I don't want to tank, we are basically in the month of April. All of these teams are mailing it in. Nobody at the bottom of the standings is trying anymore. So we are going to give our young guys more minutes, and we're going to phase the veterans out of the lineup as the next 8 games go along. If any of the older guys get hurt, we're probably just going to shut them down. Aaron Wiggins, back spasms. Sounds like you could use a nice trip to Cabo. Enjoy your pina colada, enjoy a margarita, whatever your drink of choice is. So we went 0-4 this first week. We scored 79 against the Pelicans. Singleton 5 for 20, Carter 2 for 13, Holloway 1 for 9. Well, that's one way to tank. Now with 1 week to go, we're going all in, playing the kids. Rivers, Holloway, Singleton all starting. Newell playing a lot as well. And all the veterans pretty much are going to get the week off. Sohan, Mathurin, Wiggins. Those guys are not going to have to play. Devin Carter. So we ended up going 0-4 the final week as well. So the mini tank worked, if you will. We lose our final 9 games of the year. We found a way to out-tank the Charlotte Hornets. We lost by 30. Jet Rivers was solid. Holloway had 19. Singleton did not shoot the ball well. Mark Singleton really didn't play well during this final stretch. I was hoping he would. And then against the Sixers, Jordan Holloway had a great game. 27, 7, and 7. Love what Mark Singleton did. Fouled out in 11 minutes. He was like, I'm just going to get up out of here. Singleton played all 82 games, which is a big accomplishment. But as soon as he got into game 82, he's like, no, I don't want to be here. Currently the only rookie to have played 82 games, but some of these guys still have one more to go. Why did Ace and Newell play 106 games? When did that happen? But anyway, shout out to Mark for playing 82 games this year. Only player with over 70 on our team. All of Ace and Newell's numbers are wrong. Like, I wish he had 8 estimated wins added. He might have had like 1. These numbers are right. 57% post All-Star break. Love to see it. But I don't know why his base stats are just all over the place. Let's take a look at how some of the young guys did over the final week of the year. As I mentioned, Singleton wasn't very good. Minus that game against Phoenix, he did not shoot the ball well. I think the extra attention and the extra minutes didn't really help him out. That's a big reason why we didn't start him throughout much of the year because, well, I didn't think he was ready for it. Jet Rivers had some good games, played really well against the Clippers, solid against the Hornets. He's got a lot of work to do. He did not shoot the ball very well whatsoever here as a rookie. But I think with a good offseason, he could certainly be more of a prominent piece of the rotation. Jordan Holloway had that really good game at the end against the Sixers. He played really well over the final 3 games, but he also had some stinkers. 2 for 11, 1 for 9. He's certainly got a lot to work on as well, especially the shooting percentages, much like Jet Rivers. Got to be more efficient. Yes, he averaged like 19 a game in April, but I don't really care. His shooting percentages didn't get better. Giannis Antetokounmpo wins the MVP with Milwaukee and Houston. His points per game average is the lowest in like a decade, but he still had a great season, and with some other guys getting injured, Jokic and Cade probably would have won it, but they each barely missed the threshold. Julian Wright, Rookie of the Year with the Sonics, the first rookie All-Star since Blake Griffin, and even Blake missed a year. Now, Julian Wright was not efficient whatsoever. He's got a lot to improve upon, but in terms of counting stats, he certainly was the top rookie. I would have voted for Karthik Patel personally. I know Patel's not a great defensive player, but more efficient. I think he offers more as a playmaker. He probably would have been my choice. I was really surprised to see how many rookies averaged double-figure points. Like, it had to have been at least 25. This rookie class was really impactful, really inefficient. Not a lot of guys shot the ball well here, but a lot of guys playing big roles for their teams early on, and I'm curious to see which of these players progress and which guys ultimately end up being stars. Russell Westbrook, 6th Man of the Year with the Sonics. Wemby wins the Depoy. Most Improved, Rob Dillingham in Minnesota. Tyrese Halliburton, Clutch Player. Ime Udoka, Coach of the Year. Rockets also get Executive of the Year, while Wemby wins the NBA Cup MVP. All-NBA First Team featuring a 42-year-old LeBron James. Jorg Gambler could never. Otherwise, no major surprises on the All-NBA teams. Maybe Amen Thompson, but in year 4, it makes sense. He made All-Defense. Tony Mariano is a rookie. All-Defensive First Team. Good for him. Averaging 12, 7, and 7, 3 stocks a game. Also was not very efficient, but lockdown defense. So it seems like the Hornets might have themselves a stud at guard going forward. All-Rookie First Team, Wright, Mariano, Patel, Romeo De La Rosa, and Cole Bird. No Singleton. He makes the second team with Jamie Thompson, Jalen Wicks, Gabriel Cortez, and Latanka McClain. So we finish the regular season 27-55, the exact same record that we had last year. And the 6th lottery odds, I guess the tanking at the end of the year helped. Now, if one of the teams at 7, 8, 9 jump into the top 3 and we don't, I am going to absolutely lose it. That would be karma for, I guess, mini tanking. But we've been playing ethical hoops all year. We deserve to move up. Here's a look at your final standings. The Rockets, the number 1 seed. Dallas climbs to 5, although I don't think it works out for them because they have a harder draw with OKC and then probably Houston if they win. Detroit takes the number 1 seed from Minnesota. Do the Pistons now put themselves as the favorites in the East? The other storyline that I find interesting is probably the Bulls, who lost 15 in a row to end the year. And I thought we were shameless with 9 losses to end the season. As for our final team stats, Benedict Mathurin, 20.1 points per game, super efficient year. Only played 53 games. We're going to want him to be more healthy if he sticks around, and that's a big if. He's on the player option. I think it would benefit both sides if he accepts it. I want him back, no question. He's also making above market value, so he probably should say yes. I think it would mutually benefit both sides for him to come back, and if not, we're certainly going to look to extend him. It doesn't mean it'll happen. Devin Carter, Aaron Wiggins, Bryce Sensabaugh, all over 12 a game. Mark Singleton, up and down rookie year, got better in certain ways. His counting stats largely stayed the same, but look at the three-point percentage, for instance. He was shooting bricks early in the year, 37% post-All-Star break. It got better pretty much every month, other than April, where, again, once he was in the starting lineup, he kind of struggled. Granted, he also was playing with fellow rookies and fellow scrubs. Not that Mark, per se, is a scrub, but he was playing with guys who aren't necessarily going to help him space the floor. Cade Cunningham, the scoring champion, was just 2 games away, though, from an All-NBA spot, but he comfortably led the league in terms of points per game. Jokic leads in rebounds, Trae Young in assists, Ahmed Thompson in steals, Wemby in blocks. TJ McConnell played 88 games, and unlike Asa Newell, that's not actually glitched. That is impressive. Isaiah Joe, the only player above 82, and then here are the other 82-game guys. Got to salute them, including the rookie, Mark Singleton. Who was the most valuable player in the NBA by estimated wins added? It was Wembanyama. LeBron at 42 years old in second. And the rookie, Draven Donut, was in last. He was supposed to be, an older rookie who plays pretty well right away. But unfortunately for the Bulls, not the case. So next time around, we will go through the play-in, the playoffs, and start the offseason, including the NBA draft lottery. Maybe the biggest moment of our franchise's history so far. Bigger than last year's lottery, given the talent at the top of this draft class. This lottery could change the fortune of our team, or we could end up with another pick in the 6, 7, 8, 9 range, which, I think there are some good players there, but I would rather something in the top 2 or 3. We're also going to have the draft preview in the next episode, setting the stage for the 2027 NBA draft, which will premiere within the coming days, probably early next week. That'll wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Peace out.